Hello everyone, it's Dale here, and today I want to talk about a thing that many order flow traders are confused about. The thing is that if you look at the picture before you, there's a footprint chart. The price is going downwards, and suddenly there is this huge order on the bid side of the footprint. And what many traders think is that strong sellers just jumped in and that the price needs to start dropping rapidly. But as you can see, that didn't really happen here, and on the contrary, the price just turned and went upwards. And this is very confusing for many traders, and they can't really get their head around the thing that there is a huge order on bid, which typically shows sellers, and despite this, the price goes upwards. You know, the problem is that many people think that the bid side only shows sellers. But this is not entirely true, because if somebody buys with a limit order, it will also show on the bid side of the footprint. So this could be sellers, but also it could be a passive buyer entering his long trade with a limit buy. So which one is it? Imagine this scenario: the price is dropping, then this huge order appears on bid, and which one is it? Is it seller with a sell market order, or is it a buyer with a limit buy order? The order flow will never tell you this. The order flow only shows the orders coming from the exchange and only shows whether the order was executed at bid or at ask. It won't tell you whether it was aggressive seller or a passive buyer entering with a limit buy. So it is up to you to interpret this. And as I always say, order flow trading is all about context. So if, for example, in this case, there was a strong support, let's say based on a bigger picture, for example, based on volume profile, if this was a support zone, and in this picture the price is dropping towards that support zone, and when the price hits that support zone, this huge order appears at bid, it makes more sense that this is actually a buyer who was waiting for the price to reach that support, and when it did so, he entered a limit buy order. Because the other option is that this was aggressive seller. But does this make any sense? If the price is dropping and hits a support, why would somebody big, some strong institutional trader, enter an aggressive sell order? Why would they do that at a support where they would risk that the price will just move upwards and ruin their trade? In this scenario, it just makes more sense that this is a buyer. Now let me show you one picture from a webinar which I had some time ago. And in here you have everything in one picture. So this is a footprint where the left side is the bid side, the right side is the ask side, and it clearly shows that on the bid side there could be either aggressive sellers entering with market sell orders, or passive buyers entering with limit buy orders. On the ask side, there are either aggressive buyers entering with market buy order, or passive sellers entering with limit sell order. Alright, so this is how it actually is. Many people don't know that. Many people are confused about this, and they think that the bid side only shows aggressive sellers and the ask side only shows aggressive buyers. But there are also the limit orders, which we need to be careful about, because those could mess things up a bit. Alright, now let me show you an example of a trade we had in our live trading room, because this example demonstrates how to use this in your live trading very nicely. So let me start from the big picture and tell you the reasoning behind the trade that we had. We were trading the euro dollar. The analysis was made on a 30-minute chart, and in here there was this heavy volume zone from which this strong selling activity started. So we were thinking about going short from this level, from the beginning of that heavy volume zone. Now I was saying that this was quite a risky trade because there was this weak high here and also heavy volumes close to that high, and this could attract the price and the price could shoot upwards to test those volumes. Also, I was saying that there was this aggressive rejection of lower prices, which I was saying was signaling strong buyers running towards our level here, and that I thought was quite risky. Now I was saying this was risky until the point when I got strong confirmation on the order flow that somebody big entered their short position in here. So let me show you what I saw there, right? Because this was a confirmation for me to actually enter the short trade. So I was looking at this chart. This is Euro futures, 5-minute chart, and the price was going upwards towards our resistance level, which was in here. This was the resistance. As I was saying originally, I didn't really want to trade this because this seemed a bit risky, but then I saw this 563 contracts on the ask side of the footprint. Now again, as I was saying, this is all about context, right? This is obviously a huge order. If you compare it to the rest of the orders here, then this is the biggest order from this whole screen, right? So this is significant. And it is on the ask. So it could either be aggressive buyer or a limit sell. Now what is more likely? The price reached a resistance zone, then it's more likely that this was somebody big waiting here with a limit order to trade that resistance and go short from that resistance, right? It is more likely than buyer would buy exactly at a resistance, right? So, because of this context, to me it was pretty clear that this was more likely a limit sell, a huge limit sell, and that made me pull the trigger and enter the short trade. So you can use the order flow like this if you are not sure about a trade, like I was, because I thought that the trade was risky, but then I saw this strong confirmation and entered the trade because I saw this big trading activity here going most likely short. There was also one more thing here, let me show you. It was on this chart. This is a filtered chart which shows single orders which are bigger than 30 contracts. So it filters out all the noise from the market and it shows only the big orders. And by the way, this is 30-minute chart and this was our resistance level. The price was going towards that resistance and one huge order appeared here. So that huge order, that limit order I was telling you about, this is the one. And as you can see on this filtered chart, this was actually one huge order. And this is telling me that this was a limit order, right? Somebody big was waiting here at this resistance with a huge limit order, and then the price started to react. In the end, I took just a couple of pips from this trade because there was macro news and I quit the trade before the macro news somewhere in here. Then there was the macro news. I never trade intraday trades during macro news, so then the price just, shot upwards. And by the way, did exactly the thing that I predicted at the beginning of the trade, which was, if I show you on this 30-minute candlestick chart, this was the resistance. This was the short from here. This is where I took the profit. And this was the macro news candle, right? And the macro news candle tested all those weak highs here and took out all that liquidity above that, just as predicted. But this is not that important for the purposes of this video. What is important and what I really wanted to show you and teach you today is how to understand the order flow chart and to be able to make that distinction when you see something like this, and think about the context, whether it's more likely that this is a market order or a limit order. Alright, because order flow trading is all about context. If, for example, this huge order appeared somewhere in here, let's say, or in here, or in here, I wouldn't pay any attention to that. It would be information with zero significance to me. But because this huge order appeared at a resistance, then it is important, right? Because it appeared here at the resistance. And because it appeared at the resistance, it was very likely that this was a limit order, confirming that the price will really react to that resistance and that the price will most likely go downwards. Alright, so that's about that. If you guys are interested in joining our live trading room, then I'll drop a link below this video in the video description. If you click the link, then it will take you to this simple page, and in here you can watch a video about the Funded Trader Academy and see what it includes and see whether this is something you would be interested in. And if you do think that this is the right step for you, then in here you can book a call with us, either with me or with another trader from our trading academy, and we will walk you through the course, have a little chat with you, and we can both determine whether or not this is the right thing for you. Alright, so that's about that. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next time, and until then, happy trading.